All right. What up? What up? What up? It is the Extra Point Podcast, man. Back at it again, man. You know, I'm your boy Terry Artist 404. And to my left from the camera view.
It's your boy Rashad. You know, everybody know me as Rashad 29 underscore on Twitter. Once again, it's at Rashad 29 underscore on Twitter. You know, I'm in the Twitter world heavy more than any of my other websites. So that's where most people will find me at. And we have the OGs of the game that we would like to call them, which I would like to call them over there on the pound for pound side. Won't y'all guys let everybody know who y'all are, man?
Go for it, Toby.
Well, hey, y'all know Toby D. Been doing this a while. Me and JR, we've been doing this probably about going on 6 years now.
Somewhere around in that area, yeah.
Started off in the Super Bowl year, and we hadn't stopped. We've been in the last 4 years though losing, but we still here. So
hey, when we say we with the team regardless, it is what it is. We ain't no fair weather fan over here.
Yeah,
same way over here, man. Same way over here. I know after the Super Bowl, we all just like in the whirlwind, like what in the world went on, man. But for us to stay fans of the team shows our loyalty, man.
I mean,
yeah, you got to at that point.
We've had some tough times. some excuse me for that. Who is this sending me? Some very tough times. but through it all, nonetheless, you know, we'll still stand. I'm still here, you know, I'm still standing 10 toes down, you know. It be hard, but who don't go through it? You know, exactly. We drug it out a lot longer than we should have. But you know, that's sometimes how the ball roll. I mean, I know how some people be like, they feel like, oh, y'all cursed out, this, that. I'll entertain that too much. I'm just like, you know, it is what it is. You know, you just keep on falling down till you can get back up. So I can honestly say the trajectory on we are right now. I'm not mad whatsoever.
Yeah, the offseason started off a little extra with the DW saga. Yes. I don't think any of us really saw that going down. But since that's been put to bed, Fontenot and company have really been putting in some major work. Been very impressed with what they've been able to do as far as fully getting us out of the cap situation that we were in and making some, you know, interesting moves along the way.
Yeah.
It's that whole DW saga. It came so out of left field. It was like I never envisioned going into this offseason with that going on, because as we all know, usually when it's someone of high value in the market, you know, we are the ones who really don't entertain it. Us as fans be like, man, oh man, I wish we can get in on this. I wish we can get on that. But me knowing where our cap was at, for one, knowing we had so many holes for two, and I was like, man, I ain't even finna end it. I was like, man, look, New Orleans over there and the Carolina in it. I was like, but you know, they're in better. Well, Carolina was in a better cap situation. New Orleans, I don't know. They just gonna keep on pushing it till they can't no more. So well, I mean, they put themselves in it, and then of course Cleveland, and you know, so far and so on and so on. And I was like, so once we got in on it, I was like, oh, okay, a little piece of interesting tidbit. Then I found out, you know, we did have a package on the table to talk to him, and then knowing that we interviewed him down here, I was like, okay, are things really swaying our way in the situation like this? Is it really swaying our way? But then, you know, we all know what happened after that, and I was like, oh.
I mean, it's hard to say no to you know, $250 million fully guaranteed.
It is.
Look, at the end of the day, people can talk about what they want to and say what they want to, but this is a business first and foremost. And you know, when somebody's coming at you with, $250 million, you can't say no. Like fully guaranteed, please. Yeah. You going to Cleveland,
That right there, that's what moved the needle. It wasn't so much more about the number. It was it being fully guaranteed. And I was like, if I was Terry, I would tap out at the table too. Like,
I'm out. Appreciate you. Thank you for talking.
If that's Thomas the Metro, y'all think he made that move?
Oh, he making it. Now, that ain't even a question. He is making that all day. He was sacrificing the team. You already see what he did. He don't sacrifice the team with all them big high dollar contracts already. So hey, yeah, he making it.
Especially if it was truly coming down from blank.
Yeah.
Like I'll contend, I'll at least give Fontenot a tip of my cap saying, okay, look, I feel like that move was coming down from blank and McKay, and at least in that aspect, Fontenot stood his ground and said, look, you want me to be able to work with this team or not, kind of deal. This is as far as I can go.
It was very obvious that it came from the top, because even though we was only 1 year in that new regime, it didn't seem something like Terry and Arthur would do, because it would just contradict everything they had said beforehand.
Of course.
If they was going to do that. So that always felt like a move from the top with, Deshaun already knowing Arthur, he being the ball boy here, coming home, all that sounds good. But I was like, the fan in me was like, oh man, if we can get him here, then okay. But once it didn't happen, I sat back and I thought about it again. I was like, Arthur was really finna sacrifice the future.
Oh yeah.
For that.
Well, you got to look at it like this. For the past 4 years, at least, he's had an empty stadium.
Yes.
And you bring in Watson, and even if you ain't winning right away, you selling tickets, you selling jerseys, you reinvigorated the fan base. Like, as much as a vast majority of us love Matt Ryan, I can't say we all, but, he wasn't moving the needle. And it pains me to say that, but, he wasn't packing the stadium. People would have come far and wide to see Deshaun Watson, whether we were winning or losing.
I mean, you even had his own family talking about, they would have became a fan if that would have ended up happening, if we was to bring him in. So, it all sounds good, fine and dandy. But if you trying to get back to your winning ways, you gotta build this team the right way, and that's starting from the ground up. And I feel like guarantee someone that much money, also with the picks that you're giving away, you hustling backwards.
Yeah, it's going in about 2-3 years, Cleveland's gonna look real funny.
Oh yeah, man.
When you ain't got Myles Garrett or whoever else is gonna come up with a big payday, Nick Chubb.
Because they gave the huge one to Denzel Ward not too long ago, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Myles Garrett, just like you said. Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt. What's the name of that that got out of free agency? Was it Johnson? Johnson the second or Johnson the third from the Rams?
Josh Jones, John Johnson, something like that.
Yes, John Johnson. Mm-hmm. And it's like it's come clean down the totem pole, and also to keep your offensive line intact too, because that's still a top 5 offensive line. But those guys will want to get paid too. So when you guarantee someone that much money, I don't care how much the cap is going up. You have to let the people go.
Yep.
Myles Garrett, we here for you, baby.
I said, yeah, man, come on down.
We here for you. Listen,
we ain't that far from Texas.
Hey, so, yes, sir. Hey, fuel up that jet, Arthur Blank. Let's get it up over there, because they ain't going to be able to afford to pay them. They got to let them go. Let's go. Get them.
They are. They will not be able to pay him.
Let's go.
Knowing what we finna have.
You
would definitely send them over this way.
Come on over.
Hey, I tell y'all what, man. Desmond Ridder starting to win my heart. I'm just gonna have to go ahead and say it. I
Boy,
mean,
you done seen 2 throws in camp and
no,
Ricky mini camp. And
no, it's not the throws, but it's his leadership. Now I didn't realize he had that type of leadership. Like when you're out there already commanding your rookie guys and you're in rookie camp telling them to get lined up, like that already just gets my heart. It wins my heart already. You know, they say a way to a man's stomach is you know, food. Listen, he got me. He got my full attention, and I think he gonna give Marcus Mariota a run for his money, man. I really do.
Now you was advocating real heavy for Matt Corral, so
I was, but now he further down south. He gone, and I'll get to see what he does up over there. But I tell you what, Desmond Ridder he's starting to win me over. I'm not even gonna front. I think this guy is gonna come in there and he's gonna compete hard. And I'm not mad if he wins the job. I'm definitely all for it because, man.
Just about to ask you, do you see him as a day one starter?
Do I see him as one? Yeah,
possibility?
I think so. Because at the end of the day, like if when we actually get to camp, and if he's on par or close to Mariota, tie goes to the rookie. You know, you might as well. You might as well start him. Let him see what you got. You need to know in this rookie if you got something that you can build with. Because if not, you got to figure out if you're going to be in the, Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Will Levis, the Soljiak or whatever his name is out of Boston College. Like, you got to know if you're going to be in the QB race again next year. And the sooner that you can figure that part out, the better off you are, in my opinion.
Yeah. I could totally agree on that because a little piece of tidbit of information that made me dive into Desmond Ridder a lot more was not too long after the draft when it had come to my attention that Desmond Ridder had let it be known to Arthur Smith and to some media outlets, he personally told them, wherever it is that I go, he said, wherever I do go, and where he did ending up was, he said, wherever I'm going, I'm unseating that veteran.
Oh yeah. He's got the right mentality. He's got what you like from the neck up, he's got what you want.
Yeah.
He's got a good football IQ. He's got the determination, the drive, the tenacity. Yep. Now you have to see, can he fix the inconsistencies in his passing? Yeah.
And I think he will. I
think he can. Yeah. Especially given in Cincinnati, he had Alec Pierce, and that was about it. Alec Pierce and Jerome Ford on the offensive side as far as weapons went. Yeah. And, so now you come in here to Atlanta where you have, Kyle Pitts, you have, Drake London, you got hopefully, a full season of Auden Tate, so now you have Brian Edwards that we just, traded for from the Raiders. So you have hopefully a better receiving core than what you had in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And hopefully you have a better offensive line. That remains to be seen. But but needless to say, we you hope that there's that improvement there from the cast around him. I mean, don't discount the fact that he drug a Cincinnati team to the playoffs. The first non-Power 5 school. Now, don't get me wrong; they had a good defense. Sauce Gardner, Kobe Bryant, Majay Sanders, Darren Beavers, like those guys got drafted too for good reason. But a lot of those games were won with Ridder's heroics of scrambling around, making plays, coming from behind, that kind of stuff. The things that are the intangible stuff that you want for your quarterback to have gone through.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, one of the things that I remember Marcus said in his interview is that he doesn't leadership as far as being vocal has not been a strength of his. And you already see Desmond Ridder had that alpha in him. Like, you can see it. It's like Arthur Smith is, like, no nonsense, bully type, a man's man type of mentality, if you will. You know what I'm saying? You can hear it. And you're going to have to see, it's going to come down to who can command that offense the best and get guys believing, because that's, to me, is where it's going to be the tiebreaker at. because if Marcus is not able to command that offense the way that Desmond Ridder looks like he already is about to go in there and do, Desmond, I think it could sneak away with the start of week 1 against the New Orleans Saints and kill that storyline of number 1 overall pick versus number 2 overall pick in 2015.
Just go ahead and put it to bed.
Because you have multiple outlets, reporting that, they can hear him 50 yards away telling them guys to get set. Mm-hmm. And I don't care. That ain't no front to me. If you can hear somebody over 50 yards away telling his guys to line up right and get it set.
That's it.
I don't take things lightly like that at all. It's like it's one thing, to be all rah after you get drafted, but I want to see the proof is in the pudding. I want to see it be put out there from practice to game day.
That much is for sure. And the connection between, like we joke about like, a 2-minute hype video, but it already looks like you're developing a good rapport between him and London. Now, I mean, obviously, like, they're not going to put out like bad throws on a hype video.
Oh, no.
So, but it's still like London's ankle is looking good, coming off that, fractured ankle or broken ankle or whatever he had. Speed doesn't seem to be a problem. Cutting don't seem to be a problem. So, which is good to see. Like what you don't want is your first overall pick having to sit on the, sideline for a few weeks as he finishes healing up.
Yes. And I do need to ask y'all something. So,
what's going on?
What inspired you guys to go ahead and start up Extra Point? Because you came in kind of at a time where the team is not really winning.
Yeah, y'all brave coming in right now.
Right. But yet you still motivated to come out and support your team. So I'm interested to see what motivated you guys to go ahead and still do it anyway, despite where the team is currently at.
Take the fun.
Well, yeah, okay. Well, with me, I have been wanting to do it for a while. And there's another content creator out there that when I was going to be very fresh into the game, there's another content creator I was just asking, a little information, through Facebook, what I'm saying, like how do you start up, what are the things you do? I've been watching you for a while. I see you, you command a good crowd. I was like, you seem to have all your information and all your things intact. And then I was just asking, how did you start up? And, what were some of the things, you did? Just simple questions, simple type of knowledge on it. I seen the person, they read it, went on about their business. I was like, right. I'm like, all right, that's fine. So more and more time went by. My homie right here, I realized that same person who I had asked the question about, I seen they had put this whole little new thing together, and I seen he was a part of it. I was like, oh, congratulations, man! It's all that, this, that, and the third. And that didn't last too long, and then once he came back and told me what he told me, I was like, it makes all the sense in the world, because I started catching vibes on how that person was and how they did interacted, how they worked, how they did things. I don't want to seem messy on this platform, but I speak my mind no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll put the name out there, and that name is Mr. Mad Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't hold my tongue, because it's like,
yeah,
it was to the point, like, I don't even think he realized I was on his show at one point in time when they was going to have a random Friday night show, I guess, where fans of the show come on, and I was one of them on there, he giving thanks and praise and all them little backhand compliments, and I'm like, dude, you just don't know.
Yeah, see, I was with Atlanta Falcon Nation, like you said, that went left. So I was doing a show, ATL in your sports zone, with Bit Low Country Sports, and the way that we were being treated over there, we weren't really feeling it. So, we left, and the way that they were doing things over there wasn't just organized at all. So
Yeah, it's tough when it's tough to get a foothold in a groove when, if the person in charge isn't like leading right, Um, but that's where me and Toby when we got together, we sat down and had like, we tried to set down like what a schedule should be, tried to stay in contact even when we weren't like doing shows or whatever, trying to actually like build up a working relationship, because at the end of the day, like we're all fans just trying to have fun and trying to take our passion and create something with it, whether it takes off or not, whether we land on ESPN or whatever, it's about trying to be as professional as we can be with what we have, you know and that's like kind of the motto that me and him have always tried to strive with is, you know, put out as good of a quality as we can put out with, you know, video feeds or, audio equipment, that we could get our hands on. For a while we were doing green screen stuff, um, and just all about trying to be as professional as we can be, put out as good a quality as we can put out, and also treat people right along the way.
Yeah.
And
We see that. We
that's
see it through window. We see it.
and that's to me like the most important aspect is treating folks that you come in contact with respect that people deserve. And it's sad to hear that some folks don't go about it that way.
Yeah, I mean, I swept it under the rug. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Water under the bridge. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm gonna just go for what I know.
Yeah, and that's good.
And at the end of the day, in this day and age, they make it so simple. Like in a sense of like if you got a phone and a headset, that's about all you really need nowadays.
Yes.
So, then at when you get past that, it's then, do you have the knowledge and the passion to make people want to listen to you?
Yeah.
And and it's just how you want to go about building it. Are you trying like the what I call the shock jock tactics, trying to hit everybody with hot takes, just trying to get people fired up, or you trying to come with like more of a analytical like approach, which I think is like the category that me and Toby tend to fall in, is looking at more of the analytics of of the game, like schematically, how does this person fit with that person, how does this coaching, what do they bring to the table, and so it's just like when you're starting this up, like you have to figure out where is your passion at. Are you just trying to produce a Howard Stern-esque sports show, or do you want to try to like be not intelligence, not the right word, but like trying to bring forth knowledge to the fan base. So what out of this draft, talking about like the analytical stuff, like outside of Desmond Ridder, like who excites you that we have drafted?
I would have to say for me, who excites me the most is, at first I felt like it was going to be Arnold Ebiketie to me,
right?
But in actuality, it's actually Malone.
D'Angelo Malone. Like he jumped off. Like you can ask Toby, man. When we were down there at Mobile, like he was jumping off at practice.
Yeah.
Like to a point where I think the first or second night we got back to the hotel room and I was like, all right, I got to pull this dude up.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know much about him, and out of Western Kentucky, and then you go to watch his film and it's like, man, this for 100 or not 100, but 240 pounds, like long guy, he plays with a lot of power.
Yes.
He plays with a ton of power.
And after just doing my own research on him and looking at film and just looking at everything, I was like, if he could add on like 10 more pounds of muscle, be like at a solid 250.
Yeah.
But still keep that same bend and speed off that edge, that boy will be a problem. That boy will be a serious problem.
Yeah, I think early on you're going to get the DPR, designated pass rusher, out of him. Probably coming in on obvious like second long, third long kind of deals, obvious passing situations. But I think as this game goes on, once he really gets maturated in that NFL, I think you're going to see. I think he's going to be a solid rotational piece at minimum.
So what do y'all think of the draft class as a whole, from the first pick to the last pick? I know a lot of people were surprised with the first pick. So,
Toby, what you got?
What did y'all think about the whole draft class as a whole?
Well, I tell you what, I'm proud of myself because I knew 5 already that I studied film on out of the 8 that we drafted. So that part I'm proud of, because usually they draft guys that I hadn't gotten a chance to look at, and I'm scratching my head like, what the heck, But this time that was not the case, so I'm excited about that part. But looking back on the Drake London pick at number 8, because I understand what they wanted to do there, I'm more excited about that pick. And just looking at the draft as a whole, you can tell it was need meeting BPA, and that's what they did. They took need and BPA, put them together, and took the guys they needed. And they really, the strategy they had to get them guys when they took Drake London, that really swung those guys in their direction where they could take them off the board when they got to them. And that, because of that strategy right there, that draft to me is a solid A for me starting off.
Yeah, I think I echo that. It's a solid A, B plus at the lowest. I know a lot of folks were wanting Jermaine Johnson or even Kyle Hamilton at that first pick. I know on our stream that's we were definitely wanting that. But with taking Drake London, we were like running up to the draft. That was being heavily rumored that we were like that Terry was going to be aggressive as far as getting a wide receiver. I'm glad to see he didn't like give up assets to get one. That was a major thing to me. So grabbing London at 8, like as soon as the pick was in, I was like, okay, it makes sense. Like it may not be exactly what I wanted, but it made sense. Like big body receiver, clearly has wide receiver 1 talent, and wide receiver 1 traits, and you go to look at it like this is the first time we haven't had a clear-cut wide receiver 1 since Roddy White. So going into the season for that, like I don't think that was on anybody's plan, right? You were going to come away with a wide receiver. I thought it was going to be in the second round, like an Alec Pierce or a Jahan Dotson, but they obviously had better intel than we did, because you saw with the 2 trades that happened, you saw a grand total of 8 wide receivers move in the first round. Like 6 were drafted, 2 were traded. Marquise Brown and Marquise Brown and AJ Brown. So like you had 8 wide receivers move in the first round. So they obviously had good intel, and doing what they did made sense after you saw that run. And then following that up with trading up for Ebiketie, I was very high on Ebiketie, and he could have been a low first round pick. And I think that's why they gave up that 4th to get him, because they didn't think he was going to fall any further. So they got their guy, which was awesome. And then to follow it up with Troy Anderson, which I just put out a video on that pick. He's a complete and utter weapon X. Like I can't wait to see. Really, it's going to be weird to say, but I can't wait to see Troy Anderson 3 years from now, when he has been a linebacker the whole time. Like he could come away being like one of the steals of the draft in the second round. And to do what you did in the third, man, getting Desmond Ridder with a quality, like not feeling like you had to grab a quarterback, not letting that media hype dictate what you were going to do. You sat there, and I believe you got the one that you wanted. You got Desmond Ridder, which was probably the QB that you wanted. And, D'Angelo Malone, as we just talked about, awesome. awesome pick. And, following that up with Tyler Algier out of BYU, I'm always down for a hard runner, hard-nosed running back.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
But yeah, no, man. Then you finally do what some of these fans been wanting and draft a couple of Georgia players at the end of the draft. And Schaefer and
let that be known.
That's right. But yeah, you draft the two Georgia players at the end, and look, let's be real, like 6-round picks are a gamble, like regardless if they're what they are, what position, it doesn't matter,
Yeah.
So they had traits that you wanted, either the nastiness from the offensive lineman, or I think the size and blocking ability of the tight end. So they have traits that you want. Now you just got to see if they can develop into quality players. But overall, man, I'm happy. I'm super happy with Fontenot's second draft.
Okay, a real quick question from Chris Jameson right here. Who were the 3 you didn't get to watch, Toby?
Chris coming with that.
So, well, really, the Fitzpatrick, I know about him sort of at Georgia, but he wasn't really a standout guy like you would actually, he would pop up on film. You know what I'm saying? Team player. Schaefer, I hadn't had a chance to really study, even though he was at Georgia, because, like I said, he was another player. Unless you really was paying attention, because of all the other hype players that got drafted, Trayvon Walker and Devontae Wyatt and all those guys, the bigger Georgia players kind of overshadowed guys like Schaefer and Fitzpatrick, but so those were 2 definitely I didn't really get to look at. And I know that's probably shameful to say because I'm a Georgia fan, but they weren't guys that they were kind of overshadowed. But after the draft was over, I was able to really go look and see what the traits were that Arthur Smith them coveted. And you can definitely see, I'm just going to be honest, I got Justin Schaefer as winning the left guard spot. I think he can actually go in there and win that spot. And because he has that nasty that you look for, and I mean, he would definitely help set the tone for that offensive line if he can win that spot.
Mr. Motivator, how y'all feel about facing the Saints this year? Oh, I love it.
Come on, bring it on.
One, two, come on with it.
Oh man,
let's just go ahead and get it out the gate. I mean, come on, I like it. I like the idea. I mean, I know they over here signing the Honey Badger and Jarvis Landry. They're doing their impression of bringing everybody home, like the Falcons were trying to do. But I mean, at the end of the day, like, all I'm really looking for this year is for my team to be more competitive.
Yes,
you just
said
it.
Yes.
And that's all I really care about at the end of the, do I think that they have a chance of making the playoffs? Who knows? I'm not there yet. I still think that, you're going to be leaning on a lot of rookies for that to happen. A lot of people got to take a step forward. I mean, this roster, in all reality, right now still isn't like supremely great at this moment. Like, it has potential.
Yes.
But, a lot of people got to step up and take a next step. And let's be completely honest, without clarity, like true clarity at the quarterback position, you can't necessarily say that this team's going to do much of anything. So what I'm looking for is for the identity to be formed, like truly be formed. Is it like the run game? Is it relying on Kyle Pitts? Like, I want an offensive identity. Like we were so bipolar last year that, I want to see some, so like wins and losses at this point don't make much of a difference to me. What I'm looking for is, competitiveness. Like, because either last year we were either winning by the skin of our teeth or we were getting blown out. So like, I want to be in these games. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Toby.
No, and I was gonna say Troy Anderson was the other guy. See, when I watched Troy Anderson, I phased Troy out. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't even have Troy on my top 200 board. So when I watched Troy, I wasn't as enthused as Falcons were when they drafted him. It honestly made me scratch my head because I saw the speed, but it was inconsistent. So I phased that film out completely. But now that you draft him, I had to go back and look at and see what it was they were seeing to see if I could see more consistency. If I can get the consistency with the speed out of him, then I think you got something with that second round pick. But it's got to be consistent to what you need for him to be successful at the NFL level, because you got to see if his skills are going to translate into the NFL, being from Montana State. Now, he was at the Senior Bowl, and I think that's another reason you got 5 guys at the Senior Bowl, right, that you drafted this year. And we actually got fortunate to be down there and watch him in person in practice and the game. So I can see why they made that move based on that. But I just need to see more out of this guy to really feel good with him being the second round pick. Yeah. So that's the third guy.
I was about to ask you, did you see anything different when you look back the second time to make you feel like, maybe the Falcons done, pick a gem up, or you kind of feel the same for right now?
No, I see some of the things that Dean Pease likes. I mean, the guy can blitz. I mean, and when he shoots the gaps, he shoots it fast and hard. Like he really gets there. And you can see it. The problem I had was because if you turn on another tape, that consistency wasn't always there. And that's why I phased it out the first time when I watched it. Like I said, I didn't even have him. Like if you go and look on our site, right, Pound4PoundATL.com, I had about 15 linebackers. He wasn't even one of them.
He wasn't even there.
he wasn't even one of them. So I see what they're looking at, but I need to see
just
more.
like, okay, you can take the Troy Anderson deal and almost compare it to Trayvon Walker in the first round, right?
Yeah.
Trayvon Walker goes first overall.
Yeah.
The vast majority of us, I was in so many spaces with, different like analysts from, more high profile draft sites and things like that. And there was a lot of them saying like, I get it. I understand this dude's a physical freak, testing out the, jumping out of the gym and everything that you want to see. But like the production on the field just wasn't there. And so to take him number 1 overall, you're betting on traits. And you're betting that those traits are going to translate. Same deal with Troy Anderson in the second.
Right.
Because you're absolutely 100% betting on traits. A guy who is 6'4", ran a 4.2 40. Like he did that at the combine and his pro day. So it wasn't just a fast track at Indy. So you're betting on the traits that he possesses. You're betting on the fact that he's an extremely intelligent person. Valedictorian of his high school. You're betting on the fact that, 3-time player of the year at 3 different positions.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's what you're betting on. You're betting that you say, okay, I'm going to take this guy who is extremely athletic, scored a perfect 10 on the RAS scale, who has shown proficiency at quarterback, running back, and linebacker. And I'm going to bet that once I focus him on just linebacker, that he's going to be insane.
Yeah.
And that's what you're betting on. And for anybody else who still might be on like the fence about it or whatever, think about it like this. That was a free pick.
Right.
That was the Julio Jones pick. Okay.
It sure was.
So that wasn't a pick that you had per se. So if you're going to take a swing on somebody, take a swing on a pick that wasn't necessarily yours anyway.
Right.
Yeah. I can agree.
Same thing with D'Angelo Malone.
Yeah.
That was your Matt Ryan pick. Was D'Angelo Malone.
And that kind of makes me feel like, just like how you say, using those picks that aren't even necessarily yours, like even though I may be looking into the future based on what I'm finna say, but like even though you gave up your 5th for Edwards, you still have that other 4th from Julio. That's coming down the pipeline because it was the 2nd this year and then it's the 4th next year.
No, I thought it was the 4th the first year and the 2nd this year, or was it 2nd and 4th? Oh, you got me confused now.
Yeah, we have to look it up. Yeah, but it might be right though.
You probably are.
If that is, that's a good thing. But if that is what the case will be, then that is pretty good that we have that 4th round, even though we gave up the 5th for Edwards. Well, shout out to them, because once again, they got a steal with Edwards, because, hey, what do they say? The 3rd year is normally when the light really comes on for a wide receiver. And guess what? You got Edwards in his 3rd year when he already shows and promised last year with 571 yards and 3 touchdowns. You got yourself.
You are correct. You are 100% correct. I forgot about that. You did get the 2022 2nd round selection and 2023 4th round selection.
Yeah, because I remember we didn't get any compensation that year because it happened after the draft.
Yeah,
because we traded a 2023 6th.
Yes,
and so we traded Jones and a 6th for a 2nd and a 4th.
Yeah, and we picked up a 7th round pick for Edwards, didn't we?
Yeah, but
you gave up a 5th and we picked up a 7th.
Yeah, but Terry gonna trade that. So.
Of course, because we don't do 7th rounds.
Look, I ain't got no time for 7th round picks.
We don't do 7th round picks.
Look, by the time the 6th round ended, I am focused on priority undrafted free agents, and we'll keep going from there.
I'm betting that 7th. this is just how I feel about it. I'm betting that 7th rounder will probably get sent to a team who has an extra offensive lineman that they really don't need right before the season kicks off.
Oh, see, you talking about like an Andy Levitri type situation almost.
Yes.
Yeah. Might. Yeah.
Well, right now we got some money, sitting out there, and you got J.C. Treader, who's still on the market. You got Nick Eaton, who's still on the market. So I would imagine by the time camp rolls around, it wouldn't surprise me if they brought in at least one more offensive lineman.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I still feel like they aren't done it, but that just also just takes me back to the 2 previous ones we did get, which was Nick Kwiatkowski. I guess that's
Kwiatkowski. Yeah, don't even
Kwiatkowski. Kwiatkowski.
Yeah. So when I seen that signing, it was just like it made me think back to the early parts of free agency when we signed Rashaan Evans, because we lost Foye.
Right.
I was like, okay, cool. And then, came back with the Troy Anderson, which was out of left field. I was like, I gotta go look this guy up. So and then they go and get him. So then I was like, I'm just looking at the size. I'm looking at the size of these guys, the physicality, the attributes. I'm just looking at them and I'm like, the oddball of this group is Dion.
Yeah, Dion. Yeah. I mean, you got to give Terry them credit this year. Our front 7 definitely has gotten bigger. Like, we won't be looking at small guys up front this time around. It's going to be guys that's going to have that physicality, that nastiness, and they're going to go straight at it. And I'm excited about that. Even Terry said one of his proud moments is that front 7. They really feel good that front 7 has improved this year, at least on paper.
Well, you got to figure, where they came from, where Terry came from, and with New Orleans, they had they had big, big front 7, and what Dean Pease, wants is that bigger front 7. So they're starting to get those players in there with Anthony Rush and Taquan Graham and all those guys. So.
And it was like just the more I was sitting there looking at that conversation, I was like, I'm listening to everybody. It went from the draft to just the other day on 92.9 The Game, how Arthur Smith just refuses to say this man's name.
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, he's gone. He gone.
Not only was it that, it also put me in the mindset of Terry said he was going to attack every big cap person on the team, and he's the lone one standing at $20 million because they restructured Jake Matthews and Grady Jarrett. And I'm like, and then they bring in the linebacker. I'm like, man, does it need to be any more writing on the wall?
No, they finna send Dion and that lone 7th we got to somebody for a bag of chips.
Because I feel like they knew they were going. I felt like they knew they were going to be in a situation to where they was going to have to eat that $4 million.
Right.
That he ended up getting paid, but it's like. I really feel like they waiting for after June 1st just to be.
Yeah, I think they waiting.
Like there's some type of trade and principle on the table that we just don't know about.
Right, and that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking.
They're bringing in these other guys.
Yeah,
like knowingly with the sense that they know that they got someone they could trade him to other than outright cutting him, because cutting him.
Yeah, I ain't gonna save you anything.
It saves you absolutely nothing.
It does nothing for you.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing.
And real quick, Mr. Motivator said, how do we feel about the Twin Towers, Kyle Pitts and Drake London? I'm going to let you take off on this first, man.
Hey,
I'm going to circle it around.
Hey, I just look at it. I just look at it. Man, you got a lot of receivers who got some bunnies and some heights on them.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Kyle Pitts at 6'6". Drake London, 6'4". Auden Tate, 6'5". Edwards that you just brought in, 6'3". I'm like,
man.
I'm just saying. And then one person that I know a lot of people weren't speaking of, but I had thought about him too. I just jumped right back to that tight end room with Anthony Firschman. I believe he's like 6'3", 6'4". I'm like, if anything, they're looking to play bullet ball.
Oh yeah, they finna get physical.
Yep.
Everybody was talking about, oh, I like it, but what about the speed? So I was like, that's what you have Bird and Zacchaeus for. But I don't. The speed part of the game, I get where you're coming from with it, but see, the physical part is what I want to see. Cause speed, they'll probably burn your hand up. But if I'm being physical with you, up and down this field all game, you're gonna feel me to the point where you don't even want to hit me no more. You just gonna hope that it stops at certain points. And one thing I can point to with all these wide receivers, all of them good in the run game.
They're gonna block.
And that's what Arthur's trying to implement back on this team. Like, everybody know we don't have no Derrick Henry. I feel like that running back room is going to be running back by committee.
Oh man, come on now. You got Quadre Olison.
Yeah,
got my guy. Got my guy over there.
I know that's your guy because it was obvious they was going to cut Mike Davis. So you're dealing with I feel like CP will get some plays back there, but I feel like they're going to cut those plays in half, where he may do some in the backfield and he may do some out wide. Because we all seen towards the end of the year, start breaking down. Yeah. Because he was just your primary running back, RB1. So now
he was your offense.
He was it. Like Smith has spoke to that, where a lot of us have taken what Smith said and equated it to CP being used more as a wide receiver. No, I think CP is going to go back to being just used as a chess piece, as a matchup, as an offensive weapon. Wherever, Smith thinks from game to game that CP can be effective, that's where he's going to be playing at.
Yes, I feel like he's. I didn't mean.
No, you fine. Go ahead.
I do feel like he's fully done with the special teams role as far as kick returns. I feel like they're just going to give that to Avery Williams, and probably have some other guys fight for it. But I feel like they're going to pull him completely away from special teams and have plays for him drawn up on offense. A good amount of plays because he is 31, 32.
Oh yeah, he's on up there. You just signed him to
a 3-year deal. Yeah,
3-year deal.
And that's why I feel like they're not going to phase him out, but I feel like they're going to.
Well, you got to be more conscientious with him. He is a 31-year-old, 31-year-old player. But yet again, like he runs that physical style of what Smith wants. For Patterson, it's all about just getting the ball in his hands. Yes. And you can do so many different things with Patterson. Like you can roll out there with 12 personnel and quickly turn it into a 5-wide set. Depending on who else you got out there. And, you can roll out there with him, out wide and then bring him back into the backfield for a different look. There's so many different things you can do with Patterson. I just don't think that they're going to want to have to force him into one role like they had to by, towards the season in last year.
I'm just like, I'm to the point now where like I'm ready for the season to get here because one of the things that I've really been paying attention to, and I was just like, this offense is he's finna fully open the playbook up now. And we all know, Matt Ryan, his age, mobility wasn't his thing. So once we was always speaking on that, we wasn't speaking on, we just want to go get a running quarterback. We want to get a running quarterback. No. Mariota was someone who already played with him within that system, who already has the knowledge, but has the mobility to evade pressure. Because if you're going to roll with the same O-line, you're going to need your mobility. But I also feels like the way this offense was tailor-made, it was made to be an offensive line that's going to be on the move.
Yeah, exactly.
They are not power protectors.
Right.
We have a lot of offensive linemen who are light on their feet, and their game shows they are best on the move.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So like like those little short screens where you got about 2-3 offensive linemen and shot down the field and already got a blocking wall for you, or you have your pulling guard. Like I feel like we're gonna see a lot more where they're gonna pull Lindstrom.
Yep.
He be the lead blocker, and keep
over
the RB. That's why I was like, I want to see this offense, fully open up to just so you can see, it's not stagnant. Yeah. And I mean, and that's all it's about. It was just like, just because the game has changed. I mean, we all know it, but they're not going the finesse route. They trying to build this team like it's one of those AFC teams.
Yeah, exactly. And that's another reason why they brought Arthur Smith here, because of that AFC mentality. And that's what you're trying to build here. And you went even as far as getting a quarterback out of the AFC, because you're trying to build that physical mentality that the AFC is known for, and you bring it over. It's funny that you mentioned, Rashad, about the bully thing, because that's part of my conversation tomorrow in my video to put out on Monday, is that you can tell that's what Arthur Smith wants. We are going to bully people. He's talking about knocking people out. Now, I just hope that identity is able to shine through this year, because we got embarrassed with Washington when we thought we was going to run that clock out, and we couldn't run the football.
That's the deal. But I think that's why, why you let Mike Davis walk, or not walk. I mean, you cut Mike Davis because it took him way too long to start getting confident. He started gaining a little bit of confidence there towards the end of the season, but it was too far gone in that aspect. Too much dancing in the backfield, which was unlike him, as far as what you saw in Carolina. But now you have either Olsen or Algier or Damian Williams, whoever emerges there as your RB1 of that stable. I think you have a stable now of hard north-south runners. Algier is a perfect fit for an outside zone scheme. That's when he really took off at BYU, is when they started implementing those stretch runs and letting him, have that patience, feel that block, see the hole, and just get through it. He's a tough runner, and if you go back and watch it was the bowl game that Smith referenced. I mean, without Algier, they weren't in that bowl game at all.
Yes.
So he was a guy that I liked. Coming out of college, they got him in a perfect spot in the 5th round. I was kind of worried when we let go of that 4th round pick, because I thought that's when you were going to get a sweet spot of a running back. And which a lot of running backs came off in the 4th round this past draft. But getting Algier in the 5th, I think he fits what Arthur Smith wants to do. And as far as like size and stuff goes, Olsen does as well at 6'1", 232. Like body type and size, he's closer to what Smith had in Henry. Yes. So now it's just, can he take that next step? Can he quit fumbling the ball? Can he look better when he gets the chance?
Yeah, I was sitting right there thinking, like, during the draft, you know, when more and more rounds going by and saying that we didn't get no running back, I honestly felt like it had I had brought it up in my mind to myself. I was like, if they do come away with this draft and they don't pick up a running back, it was already kind of far-fetched, but I was thinking to myself, I was like, if they don't pick up no running back in this draft, are they trying to put together a certain type of trade package to go get Josh Jacobs? Because, you know, right before the draft, the Raiders put it out. All their first rounders from that year, they did not pick up their fifth-year options.
Right.
And the only thing that had kind of put me at a pause about it was, but another thing about Terry was, I know, seeing how Josh Jacobs did come in the first round, that he's really not going to tie himself with someone who's going to have a lot of money that you have to pay them if he's not so sure about it. So I was like, it was a good thing to think about, but I was like, you know, it probably ain't going. It probably won't happen, especially if they. I mean, because I was like, when you think about it, that's one of the perfect running backs for what it is that you're trying to run.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I thought the if you weren't going to pull the trigger on Kenneth Walker or Breece Hall in the second, third round, my thought process was like really was Brian Robinson out of Alabama. You know, I thought that he could, you know, really be a good pile mover. And Algier has a lot of the same traits that Robinson has, so it's not far off from that.
I mean, they was saying his comp was James Conner. How do you all feel about that?
I mean, man, if we can get you know, in Arizona James Conner, I'd be down for that, you know, myself. I wasn't really a big fan of Conner in Pittsburgh, but he played well in Arizona.
I'm more leaning toward Jordan Howard. I think both guys with fifth round picks coming out. You look at their sizes, they have similar sizes. They ran similar 40 times. Just about everything lines up, you know, straight down the middle. And I see them used similarly and him having success from like a Jordan Howard, you know, situation. I think he could come in. Right now, I got my eye on Damian Williams. I know JR is looking at that differently because he don't see Damian Williams as being that guy, but I think Damian Williams might have a leg up because he was with Michael Petrie last year. And I think that right there might give him a leg up as going in as the top guy that you're going to have to beat. If Algier wants it, I think he's going to have to beat Damian Williams because I don't foresee them. I see them having a package for Cordell Patterson because they've seen a lot of the stuff he could do. So now they'll have a package for him where he doesn't have to be overused, but he'll be impactful when they really need him to do what he does on that field in certain situations. But Algier definitely, for me, my comp is Jordan Howard.
And I'll say this, I hope Algier can beat out a 30-year-old running back. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I feel you. But the only difference is that 30-year-old running back hadn't really had a lot of miles on him. So that's going to be something interesting.
You're not wrong there.
Yeah, because it was for me was like the whole entire time I was thinking to myself, I was like, I felt like all along that Damian Williams was going to be the lead back. That was just in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Until, you know, Algier came into the fold because, you know, we all know what it is that Olsen can bring to the table. But I was like, okay, but now, see, one of the things that I was like, okay, I'm going to be willing to look at this preseason was he owned up to his mistakes and he said everyone is going to play. Mm-hmm. I was like, okay, so now we're going to see other than just who y'all feel like should be the starter. Y'all going to put the proof into the pudding, so it's going to go out there and show who do need to be the starter.
Yeah, no, that was I was glad to hear that. I was glad to hear him say that because that's not something you hear, you know, head coaches say a ton.
They won't own,
you know,
up to
right. And, you know, they'll say, oh, well, you know, open competition, yada, yada, yada. He could, you know, wrote it off as you don't have as many returning starters. So, of course, everybody's going to play kind of deal. But no, he said, you know, even he himself has to own up. Like if you're going to have a system built upon accountability, you got to be accountable for yourself too. as the man in charge. And so, I'm going to be really excited to see this preseason step up. And I just, sorry, I'm getting into my own host mode over here. I was about to.
No, you fine. It was like I was just like, even going into, I understood why he had starters sitting.
The O-line, that bothered me especially after that first game. I was like, what are you doing?
It was just like one of the things that I just couldn't get jiggy with when he had them sitting. I was like, okay, I get your theory, but why Stephen Means not playing? that was he didn't even do nothing with Quinn for him to validate to be sitting on the sideline not playing.
And you know what? At least we ain't got to worry about Stephen Means this year.
Yeah.
Milk carton Means ain't on the team, so I'm happy about that. That's at least a step in the right direction.
Who made plays? I was like, come on, man. And once you do make a play, you get hurt.
Yeah, exactly.
You make a play and get hurt. They beating you up. They doing to you what you usually do to them, but you actually sit right there hurt.
That means he just wasn't meant to make that play. He wasn't used to that, man. Chris Jameson said Huntley could be the surprise. What do y'all think about that?
Caleb Huntley out of Ball State he had interesting tape last year, and he was one of the only productive backs in preseason when we're talking about preseason. But he couldn't make it up last year, which was kind of surprising. But I'll be interested to see his futures deal. So he's not really guaranteed much of anything.
The only one of the surprises that caught me last year, as far as when we let go, I thought there was at least going to put Dante Foreman on the practice squad.
Oh yeah, that one was that was interesting because he ended up actually playing good for, Tennessee down the stretch when Henry went down.
Yep, when Henry got hurt, and it was but just overall, it was just even though I'm so infatuated on seeing what this offense is going to do, same thing goes for the defense as well, because everybody know what we already have in Terrell. And then, you add Casey Hayward into the mix.
Right.
Which is a very good. The man is very good still at his age.
Yep.
Which is, I believe, 30 or 31. You bring back Isaiah Oliver, which is what I was advocating for that hard. Because he showed in P's system, just how good it was. How that system just picked him perfectly to a team.
Yeah.
Now, does he come back fully? Was it an ACL or an Achilles?
Thank you. I thought it was his. I don't know. Don't give me the line. I don't know.
Y'all keep talking. I'll figure it out.
Okay, because if it's an Achilles, I know that's already an uphill battle. It is within itself. But if it was an ACL, it could be an uphill battle as well. But just not as severe. But I just hope he can shake back into form to where you'll already have that nickel shut down.
Yeah.
So. What I'm most intrigued about is come day one, will it be Grant and Hawkins you trotting out there as your starting safety?
Yeah, that's going to be, man, I'll tell you what, I'm excited about this team, period, because it's going to be battles all across the board, really, literally this year. Nobody's job is secure except the 8 guys I mentioned now, in my opinion, on Twitter. And some people was giving me backlash about that because I didn't mention Casey Hayward. I'm not saying Casey Hayward is not going to get the second cornerback spot, but his job is not guaranteed just because he's a favorite. His job is not guaranteed to me. Now, them 8 guys I got that I know, and Art Smith mentioned 4 of them recently, that their jobs are locked. It ain't even no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Their jobs is locked. Now, you're going to have to prove yourself.
Would you mind letting the people know who the 8 guys was?
Is that Grady, Jake, Chris, and Coop?
It'd be Grady, Jake Matthews, Chris Lindstrom, Cordell Patterson, obviously Kyle Pitts.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hey, how I forget?
Obviously Kyle Pitts.
I said Coop and forgot all about Pitts.
Yeah, AJ Terrell.
Drake London. I think
London,
yeah.
And I mean, I would imagine that out of all that, I'm trying to think of who else wouldn't be considered a lock. Maybe, I mean, you got to go with like Rashawn Evans or Michael Walker, just by virtue of not having enough players on the team.
Well, I mean,
linebackers.
See, here's the deal with that now. You just added Troy Anderson in there with Rashawn Evans
and Kwiatkowski. So
and Kwiatkowski, right? So that's a battle. And even Arthur Smith already mentioned that those guys are going to be battling it out to see who's going to be the starters. It's no guarantee Rashawn Evans is going to be a starter if he can't beat out the guys that he's competing with. See, and that's what I'm saying.
Is it like 1 or 2 undrafted guys too? I know one of them was like Nathan Landon
or something like that.
Yeah,
he was a highly talented. Isaiah Oliver was a knee injury, so
okay,
it was not an Achilles.
Okay,
I can't without like doing a lot of digging. I can't see if it was either an ACL or a MCL, but it seemed like it was definitely a knee injury.
Okay,
all right,
yeah.
So
I think he'll be all right coming back.
Yeah, and I'll go ahead and call it. If he's healthy and a full go, I think he's a lock.
He's a lock.
Because DP straight up and down said had he not got hurt, like that was the dude. You know, that was his Logan Ryan, which I called early in the offseason when we initially hired Dean Pease. Like us there at Pound for Pound, we were down on Isaiah Oliver, the cornerback, the outside cornerback.
Right.
Because on the outside, he didn't look confident, looked like burnt toast on a regular basis, but moved to the nickel spot closer to the line of scrimmage, where he could read and react a lot better, dealing with more tight ends and running backs and slot receivers. Like that's his home. That's his niche. And in this day and age, that's a starting position.
Yeah.
You're in nickel 70% of the time.
Right.
And so like that's a starting position. And like his ability to blitz and open field tackle like he can do, like he fits what Dean Pease wants. And I'm super like happy and excited to, see him, find that spot and find that role.
Yeah, because he single-handedly kept us in that Giants game.
Oh man,
dude, he was all over the place.
Yeah.
He was all over the place.
Yeah.
I'm talking about for them to stand him up and then he stripped Evan Ingram the way he did. It was just like it was like week after week after week. It was some point in the game or a certain play that he made that just swayed it into the defensive favor. So when he went down, I was
it was wolf.
But you know what? I will say this though. When they switched it, I remember his peoples, was in the comment section, was at it with y'all every week about him.
Oh man, his uncle, somebody,
and they kept on sticking it up, talking about
that guy was
Reginald.
Reginald, he liked to write novels.
Yeah,
about why we were wrong.
With y'all talking about y'all ain't gonna keep talking about it. You gonna see him.
Hey man, and he was right. He was right.
Well, I mean, he took the position change, like
it did.
But
it did.
It
took that position change to show it, and he was able to use his physical tools to match with it, and that's what makes him more dangerous because he has that long length and physical tools, and now he'll be a second year in it. He might be dangerous.
I think he could be real dangerous.
Yeah.
Oh, Chris Jameson over here. Mariota is a lock. That's that's our dude right there, Chris Jameson. That's our dude right there. I know he's super excited about Mariota. He done got his jersey and everything.
So he's a Mariota.
He's up there in Oregon, so he's an Oregon guy. So, but no. I mean, look, I'll put it to you like this, Chris. Mariota is a lock to make the roster. I'm not going to say he's a lock to be a starter, but he's a lock to make the roster.
Not a lock to start. He's a lock to make the roster.
I had to say what it is.
Oh man.
It's gonna be a very interesting year, and I'm here for it.
Dude, it's gonna be
like I feel like this camp is gonna be
Yeah, it's gonna be wide open, man. It's going to be intent, like you said. Yeah, I'm excited for that part.
It's like you already see the change, and even just as far as the roster of what it is that they're going for.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And it was just like, I can't be mad at it because I've been asking for this for the longest. So now that it's starting to happen, I'm not one of those, why are we doing this, that, and the third? I'm like, man, that's just, hey.
At some point, you had to pull a pin. Like, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Right?
Hoping it to work. That's why.
Right. So
that's why, like, once that schedule dropped, I was like, perfect.
That's it.
If you going for physicality, you trying to change the trajectory of this team, the way that schedule's set up,
you don't see it.
You got to come out the gate swinging.
I hope so.
You got to.
The first 8 games of the season. That offensive line about to see some challenges, bro.
It's like you got the Super Bowl defending champions week.
Yeah.
Right after we beat up on our rivals week 1.
There you go. I like that. I like the way.
Now and see, that's the game right there where that physicality has to show week 1 right away against your rivals who still looks down on you as their little brothers.
Yeah.
Even with the whole roster change, they still look down on you as their little brothers. You're gonna have to go in there and just out physical them boys to send a message week 1 to them other 7 teams in them first 8 weeks. Because if you don't do that and that identity does not show week 1, it's gonna be problems.
I mean, if you come out looking like you did against Philly,
it's already a thing that breezes and that, but if you can't get it done, and I don't care what none of them fans say, you can't get it done with Peyton not being there.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yes, that Peyton plays such a big role in those guys' success. They're trying to downplay it. A lot of the fans trying to downplay it like he didn't. Like, I don't care what any of them say. He plays a huge role in just the whole aura of that team, because he get petty with them, and his play calling and his play calling in critical situations, and just his just they feed off of him. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, that's already something they won't be able to lean on. It's like Terry came from over there. It's like I'm talking about like week 1. You gotta let them boys know.
Yeah, you gotta let them know quick.
We here. Yeah. It's like that same Falcon finesse team that you always ran into, where you can manhandle up front and just have your way with it.
Yeah,
you gotta come with it.
You gotta come with it. That's for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, you gotta come with it, because it's like even with the team, even though I feel like at this point in time the team is better than the one from last year, but I always feel like no matter who you are, you shouldn't look down to no opponent.
Right.
Better not.
So even with Seattle coming in week 3, you look down on them if you want to. You can end up on the wrong end of that.
Yeah.
I'm about to say it's any given Sunday for a reason.
Yeah.
So like every single week, I want to see it. Like, what I want to see that will make my heart so much, it'll make me very proud, because I'm going to go to what J.R. Clark was saying earlier. I want to see 60 minutes, and I mean on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
There were plenty of times you can see the defeat in the eyes of the defense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a team got to march 75 yards, and you look at your defense, and you was just like, they looking like, they're gonna score, and it's like, what?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, there's got to be some backbones stiffening.
Yeah, because I'm like, are you for real? I'm like, come on, man. Like, I still can't get that Washington game out of my head. Like, that man rolled to one end of the field and threw it to the other end of the field. Deion Jones whiffed on the tackle, and J.D. McKissick just walked.
Just going.
Showed it. Yep.
Just going down.
Showed it. Yeah.
That's why today on Twitter, the Commanders page. Oh, I quoted the tweet and had something to say back to them. They was talking about, oh yeah, take a look at this play. Oh yeah, it's gonna happen again this year, 2 days after Thanksgiving and all that. The Sunday after Thanksgiving. I was like, okay, we're gonna see.
It's a whole different attitude to this team, man. For the Washington Commanders to even think or breathe to think that that's gonna happen again, they're gonna get smacked right in the mouth.
Yeah, I was about to say, even with them, like you talking about, they got Carson Wentz and thinking that they got something now. This like the landscape itself has changed all the way around on a lot of different teams.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we done had you guys on here for an hour and 15 minutes to end up going this long. So I would say, before we go ahead and wrap it on up, I would like to say, I just appreciate you guys, for coming on to the show, blessing our show, taking times out of you all's days, out of you all's busy schedule just to come and chop it up with us. So I would say personally for me that I really do appreciate it, and I thank you guys.
Oh yeah, man. Like
same here, man. Same here.
Anything y'all like to say?
Yeah, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, right? It's just we here to support the team and like support each other in any way we can, and just try to have good conversations about it, and try to bring forth something that's more positive than negative, But that's what I got, Toby.
I'm just gonna say, man, shout out to you guys. Keep going at it and doing what you do. We appreciate the invite coming on the show.
That's right.
Shout out to Out of Your Falcon Mind, because they try to work with other Falcon content creators too, and that's what it's all about, man. We can all work together and we can all eat together and learn from each other.
We all supporting the same team, and ain't nobody trying to rip off nobody else's ideas. It's all just about having fun and talking about these Falcons.
Yes, most definitely. Yeah, and it's all about just continuity and just supporting each other, being there for each other. So y'all will see me, flying around in the comment sections, when you all
there you go.
So
there you go. That's good stuff, man. We love it. We love it.
He'll be saying a lot of me, but I really do. But I really do appreciate you guys, for coming on, and the interaction, and it's gonna keep going.
It is. That's it. As long as you're having fun, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
We appreciate y'all coming on, man. We appreciate Chris right here for the sub. We appreciate that. Man, any last words y'all gotta say before we get off with this thing?
I mean, as always, y'all can follow me on Twitter. I'm at Grim1128, GRIMM1128. I'm always throwing crazy stuff out there, so interact with me there. Pound4PoundATL.com is P4PATL.com for all of our write-ups and all that stuff that we do. And just Pound4PoundATL. That's what we do.
Yeah, hey. And of course, you can follow me at TobyD1991. That's simple, man. Just follow me, hit me up. I know I make some of y'all mad when I put out them tweets and they end up getting 200 something likes on it, and that when y'all want to talk some dumb stuff. But I accept all of that anyway. So bring it my way. I want all the smoke. Let's go.
That's it.
Yes. Knows me as Lil G29 _ on Twitter. I'm always on there, jumping into people on conversations and interacting with some people may put out. So I'm all you always gonna catch me on there. But once again, that's Lil G29 _
And me, man, I'm on YouTube as Terror Artist 404. One of the Madden guys in the community, man. So like I said, if anybody want to smoke, come holler at me over there. Whether you get dusted up against the Falcons or anybody else, man. But we appreciate everybody for watching. We appreciate y'all coming on. And it's been the Extra Point Podcast.
Oh, yeah. Salute, man.
Peace.